In Washington. What can we expect? Well, watching them closely, among many others, is Ghaith al Omari. He's a former advisor to Mahmoud Abbas, the Palestinian president and a Palestinian negotiator. He's now with the American Task Force on Palestine. Ghaith al Omari, you have seen this so many times before. Is this going to be any different?
I think so. I think we have a different setting in many regards. First of all, we have an American president who is personally involved from day one. And this is a precedent. We have a different regional environment. We have a new threat in the shape of Iran. We have realization among both parties. On Israel, they realize that there is a strategic threat through the demographic changes that we're seeing on the ground and a need to reach a peace deal in order to maintain Israel as a Jewish democracy. And the Palestinians realize that having a state can only come through negotiations, and that's the only way to have independence and dignity within their own sovereign country.
But do you think,
so I think there is more of an incentive to move now.
I know you try to be an independent voice for American Palestinians, but could I ask you to think about the situation in the Palestinian territories? Is Mahmoud Abbas really in a position to deliver a deal when he's facing
I think in Palestine
pressure?
What we have today is two competing platforms. Hamas talks about terrorism and the end of the state of Israel. The Palestinian Authority talks about a negotiated two-state solution. And I think these two agendas are competing for the hearts and minds of Palestinians. And this is going to be the test. Who is going to win? If we manage to get a deal, I think the moderate voices will prevail. Otherwise, Hamas and its allies will prevail. Hamas will try to scuttle and to destroy the talks through violence, and we've seen it in the last couple of days. We have to find ways to deal over this. But look at public opinion polls. Most Palestinians consistently, and until today, believe in the desirability of a negotiated two-state solution. Now we have to either make this a credible option, or if we fail, then we have no other option but to move towards violence. There's no inevitability here.
Yes, we've seen in the past how Palestinian leaders and indeed Israeli leaders go so far and then pull back. Take one of the red lines about settlement building in the occupied territories. That temporary freeze is set to run out at the end of this month.
This is actually one of the issues that we're going to dominate the negotiations from now until the end of the month. My sense is, like everything, this is going to have to be a compromise whereby the Israelis will not continue or will not resume building at full speed, and the Palestinians will not get a formalized settlement freeze. At the end of the day, this is a matter that will have to be agreed upon, and it might be an opportunity for both sides to stand up and start talking to their opponents, their constituencies, about the need to compromise, not only theoretically, but in reality. The U.S. will have to play a very important role in reaching this compromise, in nudging the parties to move to the right direction, and creating a package of incentive for both of them to accept whatever deal that will be put on the table.
Ghaith al Omari, thank you very much for your reflections. The need for compromise.